I guess I can't say good evening. I don't know when you're watching this. Good day, or evening, or night, listeners. This is Side Quest, in which we talk about stuff. I'm kind of unclear as to what it is, really. And today we have with us myself, Robert Bevan, Drew Hayes, Rick Gualtieri, and Steve Wetherill. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello!
Are we still spooky?
Very special spooky Halloween episode of Side Quest.
Oh, that's
So
right.
this is coming out on Halloween.
Oh, man, we should have given ourselves like spooky nicknames.
My ineptitude was due to my terror.
I was so frightened, I forgot to give us all spooky nicknames for Halloween. That's okay. We can move on from that.
All right.
Yeah. Well, so since I assume you are all out celebrating in whatever way you prefer, be it getting incredibly intoxicated or otherwise messed up, or trick-or-treating with either yourself or with children, or
Praying.
I don't know a third option. Is there a third option?
Authors and Dragons is the only treat they need.
And Jesus.
Woo, we're coming out of the gate on this one, I guess.
You want to be that crazy guy on the block. You know, the days of razor blades and apples are behind you, man. Overs and dragons.
It does, of course, go without saying that if you dress up as anybody from the Authors and Dragons universe, by all means do take photos and send it to us. We will throw those up on the Facebook page as they come in.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want a little extra fear and terror and comedy in your Halloween season, I do have to mention that the Shingles books are wrapping up their sale that has been going on since earlier in the week. Today's the last day to get several of them at the discounted rate. So, as you are hearing this, you can still go and grab some on that discount. I think they're down to 99 cents. If you're hearing this after Halloween, well, maybe consider buying the condensed volume audiobook that's available via Audible, produced by Tantor Media, getting some great reviews as of this. So, something to check out. Really helps support us, and we're aiming for a volume 2 audiobook, and that's really more in your hands than ours.
Yeah, no pressure.
But also don't forget, if they're listening to this on Halloween, they only have one more day to wait until a new Shingles comes out.
And do tell, Rick, what is this new Shingles?
I have no idea. It's not my month.
Yeah, this one's mine. The newest Shingles, if I get my edits in and my cover art in time, we're down to the wire here, is called It Came From My Butthole.
It's another classic Shingles title.
Yeah.
Probably worth mentioning that though you're listening to this on Halloween, we're not recording it on Halloween, so Bevan's not that down to the wire with this.
Now,
All right. Well, as you know, we often start side quests with our bonus action, which is a little smaller, quick segment to ease us in. I am eventually going to stop telling you what each segment is, but, we're still getting our legs. We're all kind of figuring stuff out. So, for this one, we decided to talk about some of our favorite costumes from our own lives. We might be sharing pictures of some of these to the live blog when possible, but of course, we are all old fogies at this point, and for much of our life, phones weren't in everybody's pocket. So, availability is going to be limited. Now, I've been talking for a long time, so let's throw to Steve and let him talk for a little bit. Steve, tell us about some of your favorite costumes. They can be childhood, adult, what have you.
Now, as a grown man with children of my own, it's fun to work on my kids' costumes. And I was helping my daughter out this year, and she wanted to dress as some anime character from an anime I'm totally unfamiliar with. And let me tell you, you have not rolled the dice until you've sat down at a computer with your daughter and Googled Japanese schoolgirl uniform.
Oh, no.
I was just like, this is an image search. Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn. And it was all right. So,
well, surely she knew the name of the character.
look, I don't know. She said some words that might have been the name of a character.
Father, I want to be a generic anime girl for Halloween.
Well, she explained what the costume required, and I recognise what she's saying as generic Japanese schoolgirl costume. But the thing is,
Titi Fukuyama.
yeah, there is no such thing as a generic Japanese schoolgirl uniform on the internet. There's just porn. But the Google gods were smiling upon me, didn't traumatize my daughter, was able to organize the costume. So that's a happy Halloween story for me.
I thought you were going to say, honey, I can't get you your costume, but I have found a place where I can buy myself used panties.
Steve proving the joys of safe search.
Oh no, I'm technologically inept. This was all like lap of the gods stuff.
Oh wow, you raw dogged it.
This has just reaffirmed my. I may go to church or something. I'm pretty sure there's, something intervened there.
That does feel like a Halloween miracle. You Googled schoolgirl and didn't get porn.
That's a warm, cozy Halloween message for our listeners to take away.
Yeah, it's like, what did you use, Bing or something, you freak?
No, it was Google.
Bing, too boring for porn.
It's a warm, cozy message for our Halloween listeners, most of who are probably dressed up in some obscenely tight costume and getting railed right now. So,
Wow, Steve has a lot of confidence in the game of our listeners, as do I.
hey, it's Halloween. You can't get railed in a weird costume on Halloween. When are you going to do it? Fucking Guy Fawkes night? Maybe.
Easter, if you're into rabbits.
Yeah. Why not? Why not just Tuesday? Anyway.
So, speaking of costumes, Steve,
Yeah,
do you got any from your past that you'd like to draw from?
I'm trying to think of anything interesting I've done.
That'd be interesting, just like favorites, like maybe why you liked them, even if it was just the time in your life.
I think I may have mentioned this on the Mimic Chest once, but I once dressed as the comedian from Watchmen. And my girlfriend decided to go as Silk Spectre. I was like, it doesn't matter which Silk Spectre you go as. This is going to be uncomfortable because of the nature of the storytelling. But she went as the comedian's daughter. And I thought, we can make this really uncomfortable. Let's get out on the dance floor and make this uncomfortable. So we did. So that was a good one. But I think maybe my favourite costume, with a bit of ingenuity from me, in my cheap youth, I went out with my trick-and-treating friends. And I hadn't bought a costume because I was a very disorganised child. So I went, I'll go as the Invisible Man. And they'd knock on the door and I'd just hide somewhere. Well, no, nobody thought, oh, he's invisible. They were just like, why is that guy in my bush? But,
I'm railing you.
I'm railing your bush.
So Steve went as Bushfucker.
Bushfucker. Well, that's probably what they remember me as. But no, the intention was Invisible Man, not, boy masturbating in bush. Which was my costume every other day of the year.
I was going to say, if that was like the name of the bad guy in Luke Cage season 2, it might have gotten renewed for season 3.
Yeah. That Weatherall boy is out at it again.
No one could stop Bushmaster because nobody really wants to touch him.
The apples coming in on that tree have been human-shaped for a full year. Oh, that was a Halloween creepy level.
Yeah. Might isolate you saying that just to when children ring the doorbell, it'll just play you saying that.
Oh, that would be great. Because there was always that one old lady who handed out apples, instead handing out Granny Smith fetuses to kids.
Jesus, Rick.
Well, Rick, why don't we throw to you for favorite costumes on that one? Because I know you're a fellow Halloween devotee, so I'm sure you got a few.
Well, my costumes growing up all sucked because my mother used to like to buy those cheap ass like boxed costumes where you'd get a costume of Jaws and it would be a shitty plastic mask and then a shitty plastic apron that would say Jaws on it because looking at it nobody could guess that you were supposed to be a shark. So that was my entire youth.
I had the Star Wars version of those.
Uh,
Get a white T-shirt, black marker pen, and write Jaws on it.
yeah, I probably would have saved a few bucks and been just as bitter. But two costumes of mine stood out. One which was good. It was I went as the Terminator one year, and I had gotten one of those like half face, like metallic skull masks, and somehow the gods of makeup smiled upon me, and like I put it on with like the fake makeup and the blood, and at the time I was in shape, like not Joseph Brassey shape, but Rick shape, which is like better than shape now. But like between it all and wearing like the leather jacket and stuff, somehow it actually was a good costume. I couldn't see shit out of my left side, which was not good, but it was a good costume.
Got to make sacrifices.
Less good was I was a couple of years later. I was going to it was an All Saints Day party, so you're supposed to come as your favorite saint or spirit, and I decided that I was going to go as Saint Ides, the patron saint of malt liquor.
I thought that was St. Patrick.
He was about the snakes.
Yeah.
We just, I think
Fuck
we just get drunk.
snakes.
Fuck snakes. Let's drink. That's the Irish way, apparently.
St. Patrick came first, did the work, and then St. Ides brought the malt liquor to celebrate. It's a combo. It's a 1-2.
I like to think that St. Ides just every important biblical moment afterwards, St. Ides just turned up and went, "Let's party, bitches."
Yeah.
Is he the Kirkland light god?
It really stinks that we just crucified Jesus, but St. Ides is here to make it all better.
Jesus like comes back after 3 days. He's like, "Hey, I came to see my disciples, but you know who I'm really here to see." Whenever he turns, there's St. Ides.
I need something. I've been dead for 3 days. I need something stronger than wine.
The sad thing is that sounds better in like practice than in reality. Because I remember I bought a full case and I was like, "Hey, not only am I going to make this costume, but I'm going to drink all this shit." And I cracked open one, and the rest went in the sink because this shit was just undrinkable.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not good. There's a reason you drink it like when it's plentiful and cheap, like college, general 20s poverty. It's when you go for when your goal is to get drunk.
Captain Q.
But it was a good costume. I fashioned myself a crown. I had a scepter made of like St. Ides cans.
That is solid.
I nearly did something like that because my parents ran nightclubs for a while. The breweries would just throw free shit at you all the time. And we looked at all the kind of free shit we had from Carling, and I thought, I could just dress as Carling Man. There's so much thing. There's like those Carling flags, which would be in a cape. There's like Carling t-shirts, Carling braces, Carling shorts, sunglasses, caps. I could have been Duff Man before Duff Man.
I was going to say, this sounds like a proto Brandon Thighmaster.
Yeah, I actually have dressed up as Duff Man. That's one of mine.
I'm still not sure you aren't Duff Man.
We haven't seen you both in the same place.
Bevan, fun Halloween costumes. Any you would like to share?
Yeah, it's been a few years now. We've been doing family-themed costumes, like, just to take a picture before my kids put on the costumes they actually want to wear. And, we've been doing different, like, animation themes. We started out with Despicable Me, where I was Gru and Young Suk and the kids were minions, and that was cute and fun. And then I think the next year we went on to Gravity Falls, and that was cool. And I have pictures of all these I can contribute. And then there might have been one in between that, but the first year I think we were in Mississippi. We did Bob's Burgers. And then last year we did Rick and Morty. And this year we're going to do BoJack Horseman.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. And they all came out surprisingly well. My wife has a knack for the artistic. And I had this idea, rather than... Because I saw a lot of cosplay for Rick And I thought, yeah, and it's just blue wigs with their, spiked up, and that doesn't really look like Rick here. And I thought, I'm gonna make mine out of homemade clay, and it did all right, but man, that was fucking heavy. And then, I tried to go trick or treating with the kids, and it just started. I was sweating, and it just slid off my head and fell apart. Yeah.
Full Cronenberg.
But we got the pictures, so that was fun. But I think my best lone costume, like LONE, was before I was married. I think my wife now was my girlfriend at the time, and she helped me. This was back in Korea, where it was kind of pointless to dress up anyway because they don't really do Halloween there. But but I wanted to have fun. I did a pirate costume, and I planned it out. I guess planned it. I just didn't shave for a couple of months, and I grew a big beard, and then I made some pirate clothes or something, and then I made a pirate hat. But I wanted to have a hook hand, so I took her to a butcher, and I said, I need one of those butcher hooks, and can you translate? And the guy was like, no, what the hell do you need a butcher hook for? And I had her explain that it was for a Halloween costume, and he ended up letting me borrow one.
That's a trusting man.
Yeah. But I mean, and so I didn't do anything Halloween-y particularly. We just hung out at a bar, and I was a pirate.
You should have got on a murder spree and then handed back
I had the bottom half of a plastic Coke bottle and I painted that black, and that was the cover for my hook hand, and I had the hook going through it. But man, that thing was fucking sharp, and I was drinking a shit ton. I could have hurt somebody. But
accidental massacre.
I returned. After the next day, I went back to the butcher and returned his butcher hook, and there's my Halloween story.
That's a fun one. I've had many costumes I love through my life. I love costumes, and I go a little nuts at Halloween time. Like as a kid, there was a good wizard one, a werewolf, some fun shit like that. I guess thinking back adult-wise, it's hard to separate like the memory of the nights from like the costume themselves. Because like I think back to, I also had a pirate outfit at one point. I did mine in college, and it was just at a time when I had exactly the right amount of confidence and exactly the right amount of rum. And there was just a whole block of parties like in the apartment complex, and that was a fucking crazy night. So I always think back really fondly on that costume. But truth be told, I probably take a little more pride in the one that came the next year, which was a Superman costume. Superman Returns had come out, so those were available. Ooh, I'm dating the shit out of this. And so the problem with like superhero costumes, especially when you're a guy as tall as me, is they kind of err on the side of smaller, and like especially because they're all jumpsuits, so it comes up in the crotch region. The year before, my buddy. Okay, actually, people listen to this now, so I'm not going to say his name. I got halfway into that and realized he has a real job. We're going to call him Peter because he was dressed as Spider-Man, so Peter Parker. So Peter had an issue of he was dressed as Spider-Man, and when it's in the crotch, like it is just like squeezing. Like everything is on display. There is no humility. You're almost committing a sex crime by walking outside. And so like I put on the Superman one. I'm like, this is awesome, but it's coming up way too short on my feet because of obviously the height thing. And so similarly, the crotch is like really grabbing me. And then also I realized like, wait, I'm going to have to take a piss in this thing because I'm going to be drinking all night. So my solution was I threw on a pair of shoes and slacks over the base. I cut a hole in the crotch part so that I could just reach in, take my penis out and pee. And then obviously I had slacks on top of it, so I was wearing pants. And then I put a button down over the chest portion and threw on some glasses. And I was basically Clark Kent, like mid-ripping the shirt off. So that was a really, it was a fun one that still allowed me to be able to urinate easily.
See, whenever I design a costume, how quickly can I get out of this to pee when I'm absolutely shit-faced is like number one priority.
I wish. I have gone to so many fucking parties, and peeing has never been a problem, but I've gone to so many parties with my face slathered with so much crap that I get there, I'm like, wow, that shit really looks like it'd be fun to drink if I could.
You gotta prioritize comfort, man.
Yeah.
I did a beer costume for a beer run, and then I just wore that for Halloween a few weeks later, and it was fucking amazing because it's basically just like a big skirt that drapes down from your shoulders, like all the way to like your knees. So the whole thing is just you look like a beer bottle, so you just pull it up, and it's easy to pee through.
I do have a fun costume of a costume I actually gave a damn about and put some effort into. I've mentioned the Ghostbusters costume before, but the first time I made it, I don't have any photographic evidence because we were just having too much fun. And there's a group of us. My wife did a Ghostbuster costume back before, women Ghostbusters were poison to my ears and eyes. So yeah, we made these homemade Ghostbuster costumes and we went out and it went down really well. It was like the first time I'd made a costume and strangers were actively complimenting us. And I went to take a piss in this bar we'd gone to. It was having a Halloween party. And they started playing the Ghostbusters theme tune. And some random lady practically kicked down the door while I was taking a piss and went, "They're playing your song." We had to go out and dance in front of everybody to the Ghostbusters song. And we won a free round of drinks. So that was a happy time.
Holiday miracle.
I was hoping you were going to say some drunk lady kicked down the door and just grabbed your proton pack.
I'm the Ghostbusters now. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see why Steve hates female Ghostbusters.
There is no Steve, only Zool.
The whole time I was watching the new Ghostbusters, I was just terrified someone's going to kick a door down while a man innocently taking a piss.
I spent a lot of time on that proton pack.
Well, since we were talking about costumes, I think that is an excellent segue into our main topic. Vin, hit the theme music. Vin? Oh my God! Hang on, guys. I gotta take. Look, man. We talked about this. Like seriously, like deadlines are deadlines. Like
the question is commitment.
This is the thing. Like I'm fucking. It's okay. It's a Halloween episode. We would have had to do something faster. It's fucking whatever. We'll do it later. Yeah. Woo! All right.
Can we fun?
Main topic.
Yeah. I'm not even sure he likes this very much. It's like he's got better things to be doing or something.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Vin could not make it in for this. I've just been talking to a cardboard cutout, but it's about the same engagement rate. So honestly,
I was talking about a cardboard cutout. I seriously doubt his commitment.
It really resents us deeply, rightfully, but deeply. Fuck, what was our main topic? Oh yeah. Okay, so we all have read enough fiction to see the common trope of, oh, you need a Halloween special. Guess what? Everybody's turning into their costumes. So I love it. I think it's a fun one. Especially when you like throw it into a sitcom. It's like, fuck it, let's kill an episode and have some enjoyment.
Yeah.
But it does raise the question, we're all a little bit insane when you're planning your costume in the back of your head. I think more than a few of us do have that question of, ooh, yeah, just in case some magic goes down and I get turned into this, I should pick something cool. So,
that's just sensible. Yeah.
Under the auspices of no pop culture, like superhero stuff, only like classic monster or like fantasy stuff, mostly to keep the power scale in balance. Because if we introduce Superman, it's all fucked. What costume would you choose to don, knowing that you were going into a situation where you were going to get turned into your costume?
Easy. Young Gary Oldman's Dracula.
I fucking knew it.
Jesus.
I was about to say Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Hear me out. I mean, vampire shit, that's cool. Immortality's cool. And and that motherfucker kept his hair for like 900 years. And
you wouldn't have to worry about me coming anywhere near you.
yeah, all right, bonus.
Rick would think you suck for eternity. You have to bang Winona Ryder as well.
Yeah.
That's a bonus.
You're getting the powers. I don't think you're going to live the exact life of that.
Oh, well, I get to bang Winona Ryder lookalikes for the rest of eternity.
Winona Ryder is a flesh and blood woman.
I guess if you specifically dress as the Gary Oldman Dracula, does it come with the Gary Oldman Dracula minions? That's one for the philosophers.
Well, you say you get the powers. He's right, because if you get the Gary Oldman powers, you get the Gary Oldman. You can make the Gary Oldman minions. You can make Rick your Renfield.
Is he worthy?
What, to sit in the cell and eat bugs?
You just sitting there. I'd just be sitting there in like a cell chewing a cockroach and going, "Fucking Bevan."
I didn't even like this fucking movie.
and then I have people coming up to like the door like asking for autographs on their cameras and creatures, and it would just make me angrier and angrier.
All right, fine. You win. I'll let you do that.
All right, Steve, what's your entry into it? We got Gary Oldman Dracula coming in strong.
Well, now I don't know. I'm gonna be Gary Oldman Dracula. I can't think of any other monster that's getting laid and has Rick as a slave.
I love that the first rule was no pop culture, and then Bevan's immediate response was specifically Gary Oldman's Dracula.
Oh, it's still Dracula.
Not
That counts.
vampire, not Dracula. That one.
That's not pop culture anymore.
All right, we're talking classic costumes then, non charismatic actor interpretations of said monsters.
Have you got one for inspiration such as that? I think we can work it in. It makes sense.
I was gonna say if he's going as Gary Oldman's Dracula, then I'm like I'm going as Blade.
No, you're going as fucking Renfield. That's already been established.
Rick, would you, for my peace of mind and all the listeners at home, like to break down how exactly you're gonna put together a Blade costume?
Well, yes, I would get a respectful photo of Wesley Snipes and just tie it around my face.
This goes the downside of the Halloween magic there is you'd become Wesley Snipes' Blade,
Yeah.
and then immediately inherit his tax problems.
I'm going to kill vampires. No, you're going to go to debtor's prison.
You would transform into Wesley Snipes' Blade, look around and be like, vampires? No, cocaine.
Hey, how come I get Wesley Snipes' problems and he instead becomes actually Dracula instead of Gary Oldman?
Because you are dressing like Wesley Snipes.
Because Gary Oldman pays his fucking taxes.
Because I imagine Bevan is going to wear like the outfit of Gary Oldman's Dracula, like evoking that vampiric power. But you, Rick, you aren't really dressing as Blade. You're dressing as Wesley Snipes. Also, to be fair to Wesley Snipes, I think all reports are booze and weed, not cocaine.
Yeah.
And you know what the worst would be is that somehow I'd wind up with like both of that. So I'd wind up in jail for tax evasion and somehow still eating cockroaches.
Get the worst of both worlds. Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to go and put some healthy allegedlys all the way through this, that's fine.
All right, editor, you get on that. That poor son of a bitch has no idea what he's in for.
All right, classic costumes to wear and absorb the powers of. I've always been a big fan of werewolves.
Ooh, that is a good one. You get regeneration.
Yeah, you just get to unleash.
Yeah.
Smell the night air, run through the fields. rip some hitchhikers apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might kill some people unintentionally. You might become a murderer.
but there's a downside. Everybody out there who has seen Monster Squad is going to want to know if Werewolf got nards.
Well, you see, you say that's a downside, but the amount of shifter porn that's out there now, I'm thinking I might kill some hitchhikers, or I might get laid by like a bunch of middle-aged ladies. So
Yeah, your odds are actually not bad. That's fair.
God, I hope they're all dressed like Ghostbusters.
oh no, the wish curse has reversed on me too.
If I full on knew I was walking into a situation in which I was going to become my costume and other shit was going down, baby, you better believe I'm coming in as the fucking apex predator. I'm walking in that bitch as the Grim Reaper.
Fuck's sake. You're going to go as the concept of death itself. Drew.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that's cheating somehow.
I had a feeling that might get brought up. So I did create a backup, but let's be very clear. If someone's like, hey, you're walking into a thing where a bunch of costumes are going to become real, my first thought is, well, I'm surviving.
Nah, you know something? But that's going to be a boring-ass evening. You know why? Because everybody's going to remember the whole, well, gee, I have to, I can beat the Grim Reaper if I can challenge him to a game. And every single person will challenge you to D&D. So you will be doing nothing but playing Authors and Dragons as the fucking
wish
Grim Reaper.
curse returns perfectly.
Wait, you mean I get to play D&D except when the players are shits and their characters die, I get to kill them too? Oh,
Yeah.
Rick, no, please, no. The
Grim
fucking
Reaper-
terror of it.
The Grim Reaper is kind of the ultimate dungeon master,
Yeah.
except he doesn't give a shit about killing his players.
Yeah. So for my backup, for something a little more tamed down, I would go for one from my childhood, baby. I'm going to take Wizard. I'm going to throw some fucking magic around. Have a little fun with this.
Okay.
That's great. No one wants to fuck a wizard now. No one's got weird childhood issues with Wolfman nards that have developed into shifter porn for wizards.
Yeah, we didn't all grow up reading Harry Potter. Nobody has thoughts of fucking wizards.
What? Oh yeah, shit. I forgot. I'm the only guy that doesn't like Harry Potter.
I'm not super into Harry Potter.
I don't know why, but you also being British makes that extra funny to me.
When we finally get that cocaine statue of J.K. Rowling, that'll be the extra bit of spite from Steve as he's snorting her.
Don't even like this.
Enjoying this physically, but spiritually, this is terrible. Which is pretty much everything I do in life anyway, I guess.
I was going to say, like, the past costume I brought up in the bonus action, dressing as the Terminator, actually would probably be one of my choices.
I thought you were going for blackface.
No, that was just to spite you.
Okay.
You wanted to get there before he could?
No, he just wanted to counteract the Gary Oldman vampire.
Oh, there you go.
The uncomfortable. I mean, no. Let's be fair. No one thought about that beforehand, except for Bevan. What if I dress as a black character? How problematic is that got to be? I mean, we probably should have thought about that. But
I thought Drew brought that up specifically.
Yeah, I definitely brought that up as soon as you mentioned Blade.
He didn't come out and say blackface, but he asked a very pertinent
I gave
question.
Rick a chance to explain.
I know you. Oh, you're right. Sorry, I thought it was Bevan that brought that up. I just assumed it would have been.
In fact, if you go back, I very tactfully avoided saying that word.
All right. Well, we're not supposed to say. Okay.
I don't know. I just figured, I was like, all right, let's just give Rick plenty of room to make sure everybody knows.
Let's give Rick plenty of room to like dig his own grave so we can just shovel dirt in on top of him when he's done.
That's all right, Rick. I've slid down there with you now, my friends. In the
I very untactfully charged right into the china shop.
I mean, I guess if I wanted to go more politically correct, I could go with Anthony Hopkins' character from the same fucking movie, you know. In which case, I probably won't kill any vampires, but at least I won't give a fuck, you know. Just like, you know,
fucking slut shaming dead people. That's the way to go.
It's like, hey, your bride's the whore of Satan. And just saying that to everybody, somebody in a Mother Teresa costume, yeah, you harlot of hell.
God, he was a terrible doctor. So, yeah, my wife went to see you about her headaches. What did you do? Oh, well, I cut off her head and I drove a stake through her heart. Because she was a whore of Satan.
Wait, was Steve just doing a fake British accent?
I'm capable of doing
Oh, that was brilliant.
fake British accent. Maybe not as capable as you.
No.
But who is?
Except in the movie, he was doing a fake like Hungarian accent or something.
Look, let's be fair. He didn't know what accent he was doing. He was really drunk and had a great time doing that film.
Oh my god. Okay, so it sounds like we all have nailed our baseline. This is what we would do in the general scenario, but I had a few backup scenarios that I didn't tell you guys about because I had a feeling that wouldn't be quite enough content.
Oh, shit.
Oh. All right. Let's see. For the first one, you are going to a company party. So for some of us, we still have to imagine we have office jobs, but I know we've all had them enough to remember the feeling. So you're going to get turned into your costume, but you're also going to be at a work party. Now what do you pick?
I mean, I hate to go with the same thing, but I mean, if I'm just saying, if I'm fucking Dracula, who gives a fuck about this job anymore?
It's only for the night, Bevan.
Oh,
When
wait,
Halloween's over, you lose your
what?
powers. Did you not know that? That's how
No.
this works.
Well, that changes everything.
No, it doesn't. You do the exact same thing. You just do it for, 10 hours.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be like killing people.
Yeah. The next morning, it's not so funny when you're at home and I'm knocking at your door with a baseball bat for having eaten roaches for the last 10 hours.
You wake up next to Winona Ryder and she's just massively disappointed.
Who wouldn't be disappointed if they went to bed next to Gary Oldman and woke up next to anyone else?
That's fair. I'm glad you didn't
Thank you for not
specifically
saying
say
specifically me. Yeah.
That's very gentle of you, Drew. Well done.
It was more a compliment for Gary Oldman than it was a dig for anybody else.
Well, for me, it's not much of a change. I'd still be a werewolf, but I'd be the Michael J. Fox Wolfman. Because he's funky as all get out. And, I'd make up my own dance, and people would do the dance, and I'd still get laid by middle-aged ladies. So everyone wins.
So you're going to be a wolfman and bang coworkers at your office party.
Specifically the Michael J. Fox Wolfman. And co-workers are going to bang me, thank you. So
And he's gonna play a wicked game of basketball.
Yeah. They're going to be lined up 2-5. Oh my god. Okay, Rick.
What would be fun and just fucked up and just a way just to just shame all those fuckers in the office? I would go as Red Sonja, because not only is she badass, but the next day, all those sexual harassment lawsuits.
Oh, dude, you've ruined Red Sonja for me. You really have.
Yeah, you try jerking off to that now.
Steve's like, I will before this podcast is over.
It's like, oh god, I just see Rick's face.
Say about sexual harassment lawsuits afterwards. I don't think you'd even need that. I think you just need to, go back in the next day and go, that was me, fellas. That was me. And then, you could just soak up the shame like a shame vampire.
Just hand around. This is my PayPal account. Feel free to deposit. And maybe I won't say anything.
I'm going to go with one that allows me to torment my coworkers, who, let's be honest, probably dislike, except for like one job. But I'm going to do it in a way that has no blowback on me, because it will be their own fault. You see, I'm going to this party as a djinn. Not a genie, a djinn. The guy who specifically monkey's paw fucks you over on your wish.
Oh, because I was going to say a bottle of gin.
That fucker from the Wishmaster, you mean?
Yup.
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, the animated monkey's paw.
he really knows how to harsh a party. Yep, you're gonna make a lot of enemies there, Drew.
No, but it's their own fault, man. They wished for more money, so they're, I don't know, insert some third like tier relative that people won't feel bad about dying to leave this fictional person money.
I love the fact that you're at this party and you're a djinn, but you're still probably drunk. So they made the wish, and that's what you actually said to them. Yeah, I grant your wish, but some other thing happened. So fuck you, Gary, from Human Resources.
Oh shit, is that the copy boy with weed? All right, he's cool. He gets a real wish.
Did he wish for more weed? Yes, he did.
See, that's the good thing about going as the djinn, because the people you're cool with make cool wishes, and they bring more good shit to the party.
That is a good one. That is, yeah,
See,
that could.
no, see, here's there is blowback from that. I mean, the next day they're going to say, "Dude, you killed my fucking uncle."
No, you killed your uncle with greed. Lesson.
Wrong. You fucking killed my uncle.
Now you don't have djinn powers.
Yeah.
Brutus from maintenance is fucking really angry.
You're fucking fired. Fuck you.
And you know the problem with the thing you're forgetting is every corporate office has a legal department. So you wind up stuck with them for like 6 hours while they write down their wish and furthermore and furthermore and furthermore. So you don't have any fun.
That's why you go make sure whoever the biggest boss is, he gets a good wish. Cover your ass, boys. The first rule of corporate living.
It's the gentronome way.
There's a reason I know how to write gentronome. I had to fucking swim in that ocean.
Yeah.
Bevan, what is your... oh, no, wait. You already did Gary Oldman again.
No, I didn't, because then you switched the rules on me. I didn't know this wasn't eternal. This is only for a fucking night. I'm going with...
Out of curiosity, did anybody else think the Halloween costume magic was eternal?
I wasn't thinking much past middle-aged lady sex, to be honest.
It wasn't explicitly stated.
All right, Bevan. Sorry. What is your new response?
What's his name? Anthony Hopkins. Anthony
That
Hopkins.
is your costume, Alakazam. You have chosen.
Anthony Hopkins Van Helsing. I mean, there's not going to be any real vampires there, so I'm just going to have a good time getting fucked up, and I'll sound smart with my coworkers. Man,
I hear
this
you
guy is
recently
great.
lost your uncle in some kind of bizarre wish accident. Well, if it's any consolation, he was Satan's whore.
That's fine.
We know that there's costume magic in this world because you're getting turned into your costume. So if anybody else is dressed as a vampire and they get turned into their costume, you're going to have a real awkward night.
It doesn't matter if anybody else is dressed as a costume. He's still there talking to the CEO's wife, telling her she sucks Satan's dick, you know?
We all say things. Yeah, I'm not killing uncles. If there is a guy that's a vampire there, and he's trying to like wolf rape some lady or bite somebody's face, then I'm the savior.
You give the lady some heroin.
You'll cut the lady's head off before he can get to her.
Oh, wait, Drew. You didn't mention that everybody else's costume is going to be coming alive.
Yeah, Drew.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying this is a world where costume magic exists. So in your head, you kind of got to be like aware of that. It's the same way it's like, yeah, you could go like buy a car and drive all over your neighborhood and flip off your neighbors, but somebody else can go buy a car too. You live in a world with cars.
I'm just going to be smart and fucked up. Van Helsing. Boom. Done.
All right. Last version of this. Little more fun. You're going to dress like a celebrity and you're actually going to be you're going to live their life for that night. So it's a Prince and a Pauper meets costume magic switch. One night as any celebrity.
Well, shit. You know what? I'm going to go in a different direction because people are going to think I'm going to say Bruce Campbell. But I don't want to be Bruce Campbell. I just want Bruce Campbell to exist. What I would do was be one of the Kardashians. And because I'd be insanely rich and I'd get to experience what it's like to be a hot lady. So I'd probably just have a night of like total orgy.
With Kanye West.
No, so there's no way they don't have access to other people. They're like rich. They're like elves to our orcs. They've got different way of doing things. But I'd also like to just like
That's racist.
take, dude, I'd take all of the massive fortune they have, just I don't know, channel it into some homeless person's account, just so there's a bit of universal justice in the world.
All right.
I get to experience what it's like to be one of the beautiful people with tits, and I get to make a social statement as well.
Steve, you're already one of the beautiful people with tits.
Oh, thank you, Bevan. Oh, I feel better about myself. That's that Halloween magic. I hope our listeners can take away with them.
That's Authors and Dragons pulling each other up.
Pulling each other off.
All right.
This one's easy. The Rock.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because goddamn, I would every party I walk into, I would be the center of it. And let's face fact, who the fuck doesn't love The Rock?
No one doesn't love The Rock.
Nobody who has a soul.
Yeah. Well, that's a great choice.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I don't even have to do anything. I don't have to like plunder my bank account. I just have to be The Rock.
I'm kind of going a similar vein to you, Rick. I'm not sure if you're aware, but like Awesomeness of Life is ranked by name, and so as an Andrew, I can't downgrade. So I can only really do a lateral move and expect to have fun. Luckily, there is an excellent candidate in Andrew WK, who I think would be a fucking incredible person to like impersonate for a night, and especially on Halloween, because that shit's gonna be crazy.
Who?
Yeah, he's a musician. Basically, his whole shtick is rock music and partying like a motherfucker.
We can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's great. Like that's the whole thing. It's all the songs are about partying. He plays guitar. He plays a guitar that's shaped like a taco and one that's shaped like a pizza at different points. Like it's a very no fucks given, all fun, all energy kind of thing. Great concert, great, awesome dude to actually see live. And yeah, I imagine that being a musician who's known for partying on Halloween is going to be a fucking kicker of a time.
Getting them middle-aged ladies.
Playing that pizza guitar.
Are Andrew WK fans? Jesus, what era was that? Do I think he's a lot earlier than he was? He was late 90s, wasn't he?
Oh,
He's still touring, dude. I went and saw him this year.
So are the Rolling Stones, but
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, actually, that's a good question about the Rolling Stones. Like, could you dress up as say like a Keith Richards who was younger, or would you automatically turn into decrepit 9,000-year-old vampire Keith Richards?
Well, you're impersonating them in their life as it is right now. Okay. So if you dress up as Keith Richards, you have to pass as Keith Richards today.
On the upside, total immortality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could try every single drug in complete confidence.
He walks up to you, lays a hand on your chest, whispers 43, and then falls over dead. You are Keith Richards now, Bevan. Or you are Keith Richards now, Rick. Until the next one comes, and you tell him 44.
It's like a more indestructible, like Gary Oldman's Dracula.
All right, I guess I'll go. I think I'll go with. I have to look up names, but just some HBO executive and start tweeting about how much I really want to make a Caverns and Creatures series, and then go fuck a bunch of hot women.
I don't know why. I thought he was going to say fuck a pile of cocaine. Also probably a good time. I like that, Bevan. You were probably you and Steve are making the most use out of your night.
I'm a practical man.
Me and Rick are just having good times.
Yeah, find out which celebrity has the absolute most Instagram and Twitter followers, and they'd be like, "Oh, by the way, have I mentioned I'm reading Tome of Bill?"
All right. Well, that wraps up the costume discussion for our final mini segment. I thought it would be fun to talk about mini delicious fun size candy. So we've done our favorite candies on this one before. I think, am I crazy? We even did a candy draft for our Horn for Horror episode.
I don't remember any of this.
You weren't there for the mimic chest.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think you were there for that.
You slacker.
But as we are actually in the Halloween season proper now, one of the fun things is that people roll out new candies, new items, new wares, new flavors. So have any of you seen any kind of new, be they Halloween or fall themed candies, cookies, general bad snackery that caught your interest? We all know I had to do a bunch of pumpkin spice ones for a blog recently. So yeah, I've definitely got some that can fill some airtime if needed.
I saw Butterfingers shaped as skulls. If they have the same chocolate to Butterfinger ratio and same crunch, then I'll be happy with that. Otherwise, I just want my regular Butterfingers. They came out with a, this was last year, or it might have been previous. I don't know, but they came out with like Butterfinger, like poor man's Reese's cups, but like Butterfinger, and
Yeah.
those they didn't have the crunch. I mean, they tasted fine, but they were not. If I want a Reese's cup, I'll eat a fucking Reese's cup. If I want a Butterfinger, give me a Butterfinger.
The first line of Robert Bevan's manifesto.
He says as he cocks his rifle.
Okay. And just to add another layer onto this, how about this, Bevan? Any candies from years gone by that you can no longer find that you wish you could be throwing in the old Halloween bag this year?
I might need more time on that. You just threw that at me. Yeah, I'm gonna pass for now and think about it.
So this is any candy from the past that you can resurrect in a Halloween fashion.
Yeah, as well as any new ones coming out that you're particularly excited about or have enjoyed.
Asbestos pops.
I've got a little bit of both. There's recently been a Cadbury dark milk bar released, and it's a bit pornographic. I realise it's not very like Halloween, but it's dark. It's a dark version of a dairy milk bar. It kind of really mixes that soft, milky texture of a dairy milk, but with the kick of a dark chocolate bar.
Well, Steve, hang on. I got to ask you the question that I know all our Mimic Chest listeners are wondering right now. Does it compare to a fruit and nut bar?
You know what? I find it to be more interesting chocolate. It's a bit, I mean, a fruit and nut bar is a fruit and nut bar. It's great. But this is a little bit more seedy, and I like that. But when it comes to resurrecting a chocolate bar, this is again something that you probably never had in your country, so it's going to sound a bit strange. It was called a secret bar. And I think it was done by the same people who did Galaxy Chocolate. And it was just this weird kind of latticed chocolate bar with a nougat center. And I've never seen anything like it before or since they stopped doing it. And it was a bit, again, just a bit pornographic.
There was something similar here with the lattice thing called a marathon bar, except instead of nougat in it, it was chocolate over caramel, and it was damn good.
Might have been its American equivalent then. I guess we'll never know. I haven't seen that chocolate bar in 15 years, but it still haunts my dreams.
I don't actually know what's not around anymore because I thought I did. And then the other day, I was in Old Navy, and they had Big League Chew. And, I thought that was gone 30 years ago.
I'm going to go off on a little tangent and just say fun-sized candy really pisses me off. Because when Fun Size first came out, I'm old enough to remember that. Fun Size was actually kind of biteful. So you could get a Milky Way, and it would still, it's still satisfy. Maybe not as much as Snickers, but But now it's like every year they get fucking smaller and smaller. It just feels like a cop out. Like after Halloween, when I steal like my kids' candy and I get like a fun sized like Swedish fish, I open it up and there's like 2, and it's a tease. It's like being a horny teenage kid and turning on an R-rated movie on Cinemax and them cutting away before every sex scene. It just angers me. I'm like, I don't want 2 Swedish fish. I want a bowl full of Swedish fish, you know? And all that tells me, especially like my wife kind of does it, and I respect the time she puts into it. She'll give everybody a goodie bag, so you'll get a couple fun size in it. But you know something? People who have that bowl of fun size and they hand out 1 to everybody, fuck you. That's what I say. There's nothing fun about that. All you're doing is spreading sadness.
I've never been upset I didn't have more Swedish fish. I can say that for goddamn sure.
Dear Cadbury, this year, as I was stealing the candy from my children, I noticed that the portion sizes were not quite satisfactory. But no, I totally agree with you. I think in our country, at least, regular size candy bars have shrunk significantly. And the fun size now just seems like a mockery. It seems like if the regular candy bars are now fun size, and you say fun...
Do they call them fun size there?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that is a word you came up with, Willy Wonka, you capitalist oligarch.
Yes, you, Robert Bevan, you came up with this, you motherfucker.
I had to compare it to my dick. I'm sorry.
But, you know, if the regular bars are now significantly smaller, then what is fun about getting further exploited by the man?
Yeah, you know, we're too late with this podcast, but you know something? If it's at all possible, if you want to be a fucking hero, you don't have to save kittens from trees or or resuscitate old people. No, give out full size Twix bars.
Yeah, specifically, don't do those first things at all. Just give out full size.
Yes. You know something? You will be the Rock of candy.
You know, rock candy is its own thing.
Oh,
right?
John, don't ruin it, Drew. Don't ruin it. We were having a moment there. We were making a difference.
Yes, and rock candy is pretty fucking awesome. So it's a win.
No, I do love rock candy. It's not going to be one of my resurrections because it's not dead, for one thing. Okay, for new shit on the horizon, I tell you what I've been fucking really into lately, and I found them in give-outable candy form, is Sweet Tarts ropes. And it's like a gummy rope with a tart filling inside, and man, it hits that sweet tart balance really well. I have to say, I've gone through a couple more packages than I'm proud of since discovering them.
Similar to Nerds ropes.
Nerd, not as sharp, because that was the thing about Nerd Rope is it was so much nerd on the gummy, is it got a little bit grating after a while. Mm-hmm. This one's a little more balanced.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I love that one. Okay, for a candy resurrection. Oh goodness. I've recently been finding my Hershey's cookies in mint bars, so I don't have to bring those. Oh, fuck, what am I saying? I know exactly the candy bar I'm bringing back. Nestle's Crunch with Caramel. It was fucking incredible, and I'm still mad it's gone.
Still enraged about that. You keep that fire burning, Drew.
Oh, I am. It was so fucking good, man.
But you know, it would be anger-inducing and fun-sized.
They bring it back, but it's the size of a Tic Tac.
Oh, they had it fun sized. Just a square of crisp rice, milk chocolate, creamy caramel. Fuck you, Nestle. Fuck you for taking that from me.
You're like an anti-advertising voiceover guy. It's like, wow, I really dig what he's saying, but he's so angry that it's not around anymore.
All right. Who is up next on candy?
I'm not even a very big sweets person. I've moved on to beer, but
It's natural.
So basically, what you're saying is, when it comes to candy, you're essentially Gary Oldman Dracula.
Yeah. All right. I guess if I got to bring anything back, it'll be Kirkland Light.
We should say, what is our favourite Halloween booze? Because I've just picked up from my local supermarket today, from the Witchwood Brewery, Dunkel Festa, which is a Dunkel, which is a bit like a porter. It's got a little picture of somebody who looks like Uncle Fester on the top. I think it's a high, below 5%, so not particularly strong, but quite a refreshing dark beer. I did enjoy it, and I always appreciate a pun in the name of my booze.
I like to do a little bit of apple pie moonshine. You can get it legally at a bunch of places now. And, mix that in a little ginger ale or some cider. Any of that comes out pretty good.
I was going to say, I want sweet as fuck mixed drinks in bizarre colors. Kind of like that weird ass thing you got down in New Orleans, Drew, the Resurrection. And I want it in a mug like that. That's what I want on Halloween.
Good choice.
I don't get fancier with my booze until Christmas time when I'll go to the Kirkland brand Irish cream. And but otherwise it's just generic beer.
Irish cream. Is it not just over here? We have, it's like I guess cola is either Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Over here, Irish cream is basically Bailey's.
Well, no, this is Bailey's, except the Kirkland brand, or whatever it is.
Knock off Bailey's.
So not Bailey's.
Yeah. Well, it fucking might very well be Bailey's. I don't know. But, Kirkland's just as good.
It's just a bottle of Bailey's and somebody scribbled out with a marker pen of it. Kirkland cream.
Well, I mean, that's what Kirkland Light was. It was some shitty-ass beer that, they relabeled.
We're going to be sitting here a month and a half from now, and we're going to we're going to ask about it. And you're going to be like, they fucking canceled it, bastards.
It wasn't 6 months into my Costco subscription or Costco membership. They pulled Kirkland Light.
Well, did they not do some kind of pumpkin Kirkland combination? Is there not some Halloween alternative for you to turn to, Bevan?
I don't care. I don't drink this. I drank this shit to silence the demons and shit. Not to.
You can do that in a tasty, festive themed way.
I drank it to not care, and now suddenly I care again, and it sucks.
Like so, Christmas isn't good enough for you. I drank Kirkland Irish cream. I'm festive. For Jesus.
I need 4 Christmas-like events a year, Bevan, or else I start to wake up. Nobody wants to wake up.
This took a turn.
I drank some of that shit in England. Whatever you had there.
Yeah, you told me it tasted like spit, and you've ruined that one for me.
All right.
You've ruined golden ales for me now. Yes. Thank you. That's the last vestige of the brief English summer we get to experience for 3 days a year.
And now all I've got left, I got to drink Bud Light like I'm the fucking Sultan of whatever, spending all this money when I could have been drinking Kirkland Light.
The Sultan of Bud Light. Well, that's a Halloween costume for somebody next year. Until that time, we have been Authors and Dragons, coming at you with Side Quest. Hope you have a happy, safe, fun Halloween. We'll catch you next week with a regular episode of Authors and Dragons. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Woo.